Alright, folks, it is LAyercake turn 36. In terms of messages, I swapped some gems with Atlantis, got some nature gems from them. I hit construction level 6 and enchantment level 5. Mother Hydra has claimed the Throne of Flames in the name of She of the Full Scales. So Atlantis has got the Throne of Flames, which is this throne that gives you fire resistance and fire gems, which doesn't help Atlantis all that much, although fire resistance is kind of cool. They also have the High Throne. I need to start claiming some thrones here, so I'm moving my Pretender God, Weeaboo Meme Lord, over this way to claim the throne in Rot Marsh. Arcosafale has figured out that I am not immediately going to war against Patala. That's okay with me. He's, like, trying to pretend that he's getting ready to attack Patala. He's not. Not at all. I mean, I have scouts in every border province that he has, except this one, but I can still see the army there with Patala, and he has no armies. So, no, he's bluffing. His armies are all down here in Agartha, and some are over here in Ozandius. A pretty significant force. He's been building up slowly in Ozandius, possibly hoping that I don't notice. In any case, he is certainly not getting ready to invade Patala, which is okay by me because I am no longer getting ready to invade Patala either. Patala and I have our non-aggression pact, and Patala is going to go beat up Bogarus, and I am going to go fight Arcosafale, although not immediately, not this turn. I have a whole bunch of my Ryujin scattered around site searching for water sites. I have some of my Onmyoji scattered around searching for astral sites. Meanwhile, I'm doing a little bit of forging. Yoshi here is forging a Starshine Skullcap. That will boost him. In combination, I also have a Thistle Mace, and once he's been boosted up with those boosters, he'll be able to forge the... Actually, it's not him. He's forging the Starshine Skullcap, which is good and all, but I needed... Who was it? That's right, I needed Tetsuya. Tetsuya needs to run back to a fort of mine, then I can give him this Thistle Mace that Kiyonaga currently has, and then he can use that to forge a Moonvine Bracelet. Once I stack the Moonvine Bracelet and the Thistle Mace on one of my natively Nature 3 mages, like Kintoki here, I will be able to use them to cast Mother Oak and steal that from Man, which is definitely what I plan to do. After that, war with Arcosafale sounds like a pretty decent idea. War with Man could also be a pretty decent idea at that point. War with Man might be inevitable at that point, but we'll see. I got him to back off once. If I can keep him backed off while I fight Arco, that would be fine. What I definitely do not want is I do not want to be fully engaged against Arcosafale and then also have Man attack me. I do, however, want Mother Oak. So, yeah. I'm not spending any air gems right now. I'm building up air gems insofar as I can. I only have those 12. But I'm getting 6 per turn, and I'm searching for more air sites with my Ryujin and with Rintaro here, who is my Dai Tengu summoner. As soon as I hit 55, I will summon a Dai Tengu, which will be nice, because that will open up some of those high-level air spells for me. I'm currently working down Conjuration to get to Conjuration 6 and 7. Conjuration 6 will give me Kitsune. It'll also give me Kenzoku, who are ethereal, awe-having thug chassis. Level 7 will just give me the normal level 7 conjuration things. Where were worm mages again? It's called the Worm That Walks, is what the spell is called. Where is it? Is it in Thaumaturgy? It's Thaumaturgy level 8 is Worm Mages. Which I could also do. They're immortals, so they would be pretty good. They're not as perfectly immortal as, say, vampires. There are ways they can die, but still, they're extremely good. So I will want to go down Thaumaturgy a little further at some point here. Thaumaturgy, of course, also has a bunch of astral spells that will be incredibly useful for me, including Enslave Mind and Soul Slay, and eventually, potentially even Master Enslave, although I do not have good communion slaves, so Me casting Mastral Enslave, probably not really going to happen. In order to do that, I would need an Onmyoji. Let's say if I had a Communion of 8 backing him up, that would be 3 boosts, so that makes him Astral 5. Then he needs... the Crystal Shield casts Power of the Spheres, so now he's 6. Light of the Northern Star makes him 7, and I think that's where he gets stuck. I don't think he can actually reach 8. I would need... Oh, I just need to stack another Astral Booster on him, a Starshine Skullcap. But I'll need quite a few Onmyoji to do that. Now, fortunately, I am shifting towards recruiting more Onmyoji, and Onmyoji are actually cheaper over time than Master Shugenjas, because for one thing, they cost less, and for another thing, they take 2 turns, so on the second turn, they cost no gold. So, recruiting Onmyoji will stretch my money situation. I will, however, need to go to war with somebody pretty quickly in order to get more money. I'm glad to have a couple turns off, just so I can get some site searching done up here for paths that I don't think Raga could or was site searching for very effectively. So that's good, and I will definitely be running several Ryujin around to do that. However, mostly I'm focused on taking Underspring. After that, it would be really nice to have this chunk of land. But, of course, if I need to go to war with Arcosophale, that won't be so much of a thing. Now, Pangea is down here. And he has his Great White Bull is leading this army. Pangea is, I think, fighting Atlantis. This is why I think that. I say I think, I'm pretty sure. You know, this is a pretty strong indication. So Pangea is fighting Atlantis and also Bogorus. If I busted my way through Man and came down here to attack Pangea, I would then end up with a border with Bogorus. Bogorus, like I said, is, I think, going to be attacked by Patala. At least I certainly hope they are, and I think that's where their army went. Now, this turn, 2 things happened. I made my peace agreement with Patala. I feel like I told you guys about that, but I don't entirely remember. So, Patala and I made peace. We agreed not to fight each other, we signed a non-aggression pact, and he told me that he was going to be casting Sea of Ice. He didn't cast it this turn, which was the original plan, but he's still planning on casting it in the future. There was a little bit of kind of facing off about that, and basically I told him, you can cast Sea of Ice if you want, man. I can dispel it anytime I need to. Now, that was a little bit of bravado, because my Astral Pearl income is currently 2. I need more Astral Pearls before I can actually dispel spells like that in a reasonable time frame. Fortunately, you can turn other gems into Astral Pearls relatively cheaply, so I could concentrate gem income in order to get it done. So if I were to concentrate, say, my fire and my earth gems and death gems, because I have no earthly use for death gems, if I were to concentrate those, that's effectively 1.5 pearls per month. That's effectively 3 pearls per month. So that kicks my Astral Pearl income up to about 5 per month. At that rate, I could eventually afford to dispel Seas of Ice. But what I did basically was I just got all my Ryujin out of the water. So I've got Ryujin down here, I've got Ryujin scattered around up there. This one Ryujin, Yoshi, since Yoshi is basically crippled, we're leaving him down here to help build a lab and a temple here in this fort that we're building in Divine Ocean to maximize the income. We'll also eventually build a fort over here in White Lake, but for right now we're focusing on Divine Ocean. And then we'll start recruiting Ryujin over here. I have stopped recruiting Shark Warriors because I anticipate they will be trapped underwater by a Sea of Ice. I am still recruiting Ryujin because I still want them, and eventually I will be able to... basically every turn the Sea of Ice doesn't go up, I'll pop out another Ryujin and get it above land immediately and start doing things with them. I am going to cast... I've already cast Voice of Tiamat on White Lake. That was last turn. We talked about that. I'm going to cast Voice of Tiamat on these 2 provinces as well. In terms of battles, there were 2 things that I missed when I gave all my orders to people not to attack Patala. I missed 1 ninja who assassinated an Atavi chieftain. And then I missed 1 Ryujin, and this is really sad. Because this 1 Ryujin zipped way over from all the way across my empire, and he showed up alone. And he was an Earth random, which is a pretty good random. And he faced off against all this province defense alone, and they shot tons and tons and tons and tons of arrows at him while he summoned a water elemental and then took a nap. And, after they'd shot tons and tons of arrows at him, he woke up and he summoned earth power, and then he, well, he took a nap again because I misscripted, and then he got stabbed to death. So, pour one out for Montaro the Ryujin. He did his best. He and his water elemental buddy. They did their best. Yeah, they killed 12 people, so, you know, that's something, but wasn't enough to overcome 20 province defense. And, to be honest, I would have had to give the province back immediately anyway. We took back Carrion. Man agreed to pull out. And other battles. Patala attacked Marignan and lost. This was just a scouting force. Down here, Patala attacked Marignan and won, mainly on the strength of Minotaurs. They took out a small but relatively potent army here with a whole lot of magic, whole lot of Diabolists. I don't know why there were 16 Shadow Imps involved. Like, why does he have 16 Shadow Imps? I don't understand that choice. This was a fort. It being a fort does not explain that choice, though. He's got Fire Shield on all his mages. I think these mages are actually unscripted. I need to check. This is making me want to check if Marignan is AI, because this is, I don't know. In any case, the Minotaurs basically just storm in and trample everyone, along with, who is that? Their naked friend, the caveman. So the Minotaurs just stormed in and trampled everyone, and it all went very, very simply for Patala. Has Mari gone AI? No. No, he hasn't. Okay. Never mind. Man attacked Ulm in Sylvania, and they destroyed their entire army in what's actually a really funny way. just watch here. So, Ulm has a really big mage corps back here, primarily members of the second tier, and they've got several black priests who can cast Iron Blizzard. All of them can cast Iron Blizzard. Some of them can cast Iron Blizzard very, very well. So they're all back here. They're going to be Iron Blizzarding. He's got a whole bunch of Astral Blood mages. He's also got his god, Magical Girl Elizabeth Bathory, with a whole bunch of death gems. And he's got a little pile of infantry, and he's got a few clockwork soldiers up front, and a few rangers. But mainly, this is a mage battery, and he's hoping to use the mage battery to wipe out Man's units. Man has brought a whole bunch of Magister's Arcane, which he is planning to use to storm and then Thunderstrike, as he was planning to do with me. He's also brought a whole bunch of Magisters of Theology, presumably for anti-undead banishing purposes. And Blessing. So I don't know why he's Blessing when he has his god, but so the crossbow bolts go in, everything's going fine. He summons a couple of air elementals, and then watch what happens. So the Shadow Blast goes in, and wow, that does a lot of damage. And if Elizabeth's Bathory had managed to do another one of those, it would have been great. But unfortunately, these two air elementals jump to the back and proceed to totally ruin Ulm's day. Watch what happens here. Yeah, all the mages start shooting at the air elemental, and they kill Elizabeth Bathory. That's because, remember, Iron Blizzard does double damage to magical creatures. And at short range, multiple projectiles hit her. Since they were magical, her invulnerability didn't count, and they did double damage to her, so she was killed instantly by the Iron Blizzards. Also, the Thunderstrikes are not helping. The members of the second tier back here are casting Stellar Cascades up front on enemy units, which is fine, but the Iron Blizzards and the Iron Darts are not going where they need to go. They're targeting at these individuals who are out front, and then, of course, all these mages start pouring freaking cold bolts, or arcane bolts, onto this one air elemental. And overall, it's just not going well. Ulm's mages are just not doing what they need to do in order to win this battle. And if they'd done exactly what he had hoped for them to do, they would have inflicted a ton of damage, possibly even won. As it was, however, the mages rout, without really accomplishing much. So, overall, I would categorize that battle as a rout. Ulm lost, look, 20 kills from one casting of Shadow Blast. It is a powerful spell. But Ulm lost 3, 4, 12 mages. Their god was killed, which doesn't matter much, but 12 mages plus 3 commanders, plus just half of their units in general. Man lost 2 of their Magister's Arcane, they did lose 2 of them, and some tower guards. And that's about it. Ulm definitely came off worse in that exchange. In Palia and Agartha, Arcocephale continues just bouncing troops off of Agartha in an effort to whittle them down. Now, this was kind of clever, actually. That one Mystic came in with 3 crossbows, or 5 crossbows, and he had 1 gem. And he cast Magic Duel once. And his Magic Duel... No, not very... I want to see the unit overview. I think the unit overview should show us the Magic Duel. Because I think he just cast it. Yep, he cast Magic Duel. And I could have sworn he killed somebody. Didn't he kill a mage? With the Magic Duel? Thought he did. Well, maybe not, but in any case, basically he just somehow an Agarthan mage died. Must have been hit by a random crossbow bolt at some point. Lots of people up here got killed by the poison, which is kind of hilarious. But yeah, Agartha killed a few more of their own units with poison, including a blind fighter. And Alaric the Catonian Animist, yeah, he was killed by the Magic Duel. So he was hit by the Magic Duel and lost and was killed. So that's a mage down for no cost for Arcocephale. Once again, Arcocephale is just slowly, ever so slowly, whittling Agartha down. They can storm at any time. In fact, I would kind of categorize this as wasting time. But to be fair, he is saving troops. And if he sends his troops into this, it's going to be a bad day. So, you know, he's taking it slow. That's about all the events that happened. Some random events. Got some unrest here in Oak Halls. In Dragonscale Mountains, I earned some gems. Also in Oak Halls, I'm losing Dominion, which I don't care about all that much. Underspring is moderately damaged. So what I'm doing is I'm moving all my troops down here and collapsing on Underspring. I've gone back to recruiting troops since I'm not recruiting Shark Warriors anymore. So I'm recruiting troops in almost all of my forts, and I'm recruiting mages in all of my forts. So I'm recruiting troops, yeah, you can see pretty much everywhere above ground. I'm not recruiting any troops in Dragonscale Mountains right at the moment, or in Raga. Raga would be positioned properly if I wanted to launch an attack on Bogarus, which isn't a terrible idea, but I'm a little busy. And Bogarus and I am content to let Patala go fight Bogarus, especially because Bogarus has gotten enough research to be a little bit scary. I'm just gonna save that last 50 gold. If I recruited anybody up here, they'd have to move quite a ways. I'm also recruiting crossbowmen here in Stonegrave Mountains. Actually, start recruiting a mage. For the sake of having mages. I do now have 2 active blood hunters in Stonegrave Mountains. I'm gonna stick some troops in here to patrol for a while. Probably summon some wolves. Research-wise, research speed going pretty okay. I am using my fire gems to forge some lightless lanterns now that I've hit construction 6, and I'll be able to afford to forge 1 per turn going forward on an ongoing basis. So, that's the turn. Current plan's a little bit up in the air. Arcocephale has been asking about reinstating our non-aggression pact, which I'm thinking about. Because I want to fight them. But I don't necessarily want to fight them alone. What I'm hoping is, when Seas of Ice gets cast, Atlantis and I can kind of get together. Atlantis is another big contender. And the 2 of us can attack Arcocephale. You may have noticed by now from watching my other series, I am not big on one-on-one fights, largely because I tend to lose them. In my opinion, fair fights are for the birds. I don't like them in Dominions. I would much rather be on the winning side of a 3 versus 1 gang up that stomps some poor nation into the dirt. Because I am essentially a bully at heart? I don't know, I don't like to say I'm not a bully at heart. Strategically speaking, though, Dominions really, really rewards ganging up on people. Because if you fight an even war against someone, even if you win, you lose troops, you lose mages, you lose momentum, and you lose time. As opposed to if you're one of 3 people that are all attacking an enemy nation, odds are you will take some territory. You won't get it all, but you'll take a pretty significant chunk of territory with little by way of risk, and you won't lose much, and then you'll be able to turn on one of your former compatriots fairly quickly. So I might go in and fight a war against Arcocephale. I might go attack a man. Gonna keep my options open right now. I may agree to another non-aggression pact with Arco. It would be 2-turn cancellation. And to be honest, that benefits me pretty much as him. Because, well, it would mean ending it would give him, like, proof positive that something was up, but I may re-sign it. I may re-sign it just because I do want a few turns of intensive site searching and research and build-up. I want to get Mother Oak active. I want to summon a couple of Kitsune, ideally. There's a few things that I want to do. It's going to take me 2 turns to hit Conjuration level 6. And I definitely want to get some Astral income built up. I need to search that province for Astral still, so you move up there. Okay, so that's going to be the turn, and I will see you all in turn 37, where hopefully we'll get close to breaking down Underspring. This army will definitely do it once that army gets there, and I'm moving some other small forces in. Yeah. Well, take care until turn 37. I'll see you then. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is LAyercake turn 37. Interesting thing that happened this turn, I cast Haruspex a couple of times and found a Sea Oak, for one thing, which buffs my nature and air income, both fantastic. My air is up to 7, and my nature is up to 8, so I'm growing very, very effectively there. However, God of Patala just cast a global enchantment, and specifically, he cast Sea of Ice, as he told me he probably would. So, the seas are frozen. That means nothing can move in or out of the oceans, and it looks like it went off before movement, which I was hoping it wouldn't, because it caught Fuyunori underwater with his shark warriors. Unfortunate. So I've got Yoshi over here. I deliberately kept him underwater so he could build a lab where I'm building this fortress, and we will use the frozen seas to make sure that we establish ourselves in this pond hard enough that Patala can't possibly kick us out. Now, Patala... the original Patala player, Jimbo, has come back, so the Xenohunter, the sub that I was negotiating with, is gone. It remains to be seen whether our negotiations will remain intact. But over here, I'm researching, I'm casting Voice of Tiamat on the Divine Ocean to search it for all elemental paths. I've already cast it on White Lake, found nothing. I'll also cast it on Faraway Sea, just in case. A bunch of my other mages are zipping around site-searching still. Shintaro needs to go over there to search it, and Chico should go over here to search this place for air. Overall, things are going pretty well. I've got my Blood Hunters have caught a few more Blood Slaves, just a few. We also captured 1 Blood Slave in Mictlan. Good job, guys. You're doing God's work. There was a battle in Ulm, which I have not viewed yet. I've made some moves. I haven't viewed all of the various battles. So this is Man attacking Ulm's capital with his god, who has a huge Dominion penalty, and has a slayed soul. So that's interesting. I mean, I think that means he got hit with Soul Slay, but if he got hit with Soul Slay, he should have died. Like, Soul Slay kills people. So he must have died to Soul Slay and then come back, been called back, which is interesting. I wasn't aware that Pretender Gods could do that, to be honest. I wasn't aware that Soul Slay inflicted an affliction. So, interesting stuff. But in any case, he's 5/5 Earth and Nature with a whole bunch of gems. We've got Man's little army here. They've also got a whole bunch of Magisters of Theology who have come with them in order to banish the undead, and a few independent priests, I'm sure. On Ulm's side, we've got Province Defense. Ulm is not combating this attack. Probably they're hoping that the Province Defense will inspire gem use, which it seems to have done. Because we've got a lot of elementals, we've got a lot of storm and storm power going down, so a whole bunch of air gems just got used up, and they also cast Howl. So that is quite a few gems gone. So Ulm has successfully baited out gems. In fact, do they have any air gems left, or was that all of them? Nope, they still got some air gems. They've got air gems left on their Stormcaster. And they've got a couple air gems left on him. Okay, so they've still got some air gems left. For a second there, I was a little bit worried that, that Ulm had successfully baited out all of their gems. Okay, so I don't think they took any casualties there. Yeah, no casualties. The Magister's Arcane just basically slaughtered everybody. Great. I was attacked with my scouts. For some reason, 2 scouts attacked Three Pine Grove. I just kind of told them to move there. There's a lot of province defense in Three Pine Grove. So, those scouts are dead. I think they got patrolled out is actually what happened. Lots of searching for magic sites, did not find many, but in the Forest of Pine, I found a Lake of Living Water. Now, a Lake of Living Water activates a minor story event. It generates 1 water gem per turn. And also, we found the Lake of Living Water. Sentient forces dwell below the surface. An attempt to summon the entities residing therein can be made. It is not without danger, for the lake may not want to be disturbed. So, what this does is, it unlocks these options. Investigate, withdraw, or magic. I dug around in the mod inspector, and it seems like if you investigate, you have a chance to gain a point of water. If you magic, you have a chance to summon water elementals, including a chance to summon like 2d6 water elementals per turn, which are permanent units that you can script. That's pretty damn big. There's also a chance that a water elemental will attempt to assassinate you. Now, Masari can deal with water elemental assassinations because he can summon water elementals. And he can summon them for free. He also will buff himself, so I kind of have to hope that he doesn't. He could die to an assassination, but I think the risk is worth it. So Masari is going to be going to the lake and attempting to summon water elementals. And we'll see, there's a chance that the lake will stop producing water elementals. So we'll kind of see how it goes. You are going to, not ritual spells. You should be forging lightless lanterns. I need to put some lightless lanterns on people so that I have their research boosting properties. Like Kiyotomi, you should be searching for magic sites. As you can see, I have not finished all of my scripting yet. I forged a Starshine Skullcap and a pair of Earth Boots. So I've got a couple of boosters sitting around. I also, of course, have a Thistle Mace. I've given that Thistle Mace to Tetsuya, who is going to forge a Moonvine Bracelet. Once I have those 2 boosters, I will put them both on a Nature 3 mage, namely Kintoki, and Kintoki will then be able to cast Mother Oak and take it away from man. Kicking my Nature Gem income up like that will help me a lot, both because it will it'll let me cast Swarm and such more often, and also because as soon as I hit Conjuration 6, it will mean that I can summon a number of Kitsune who are really, really good mages, and also spies, and also fast, and also shapeshifters, and also, you know, you get the point. They do a whole lot of stuff. My big stack here with the 348 siege strength is moving down to Underspring. Weeaboo Meme Lord is claiming the Throne of Law, which will give me Order +1 and Spread Dominion. That order will increase my recruitment points, so I'll be able to spend more time recruiting Akaoni Samurai, which so far I've been kind of recruitment point limited on because I took Turmoil 3. So that'll be a nice little bonus. Now, of course, I can't go underwater anymore. You can see, you can hear me clicking, and it's not doing anything with the Sea of Ice up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in touch with Atlantis and be like, hey, Atlantis, old buddy, old pal, how do you feel about this whole Sea of Ice thing? I feel like we could probably dispel it. I'm using most of my Astral Pearls to forge this Moonvine Bracelet, but didn't I forge a hammer at some point? Sometimes it's so hard to find your items. I feel like I forged a hammer, but to be fair, I can't guarantee that I did. I just feel like, I feel like it's a thing I would have done. Now, my Earth Gem income is fucking atrocious, so it's possible I didn't. There's a lot of provinces that I have not searched for Earth to any real degree. So what I need, one thing that I need to do is I need to start moving out Earth mages. Like, Kyohide, I need you to go look for Earth sites, bro. I need Earth like the desert needs the rain. I'm getting some from underwater, which is nice. And this Sea Oak is a really good site. I'm really glad I found that. In any case, my water provinces are perfectly safe, but not productive at the moment. So I have actually stopped recruiting a Ryujin down there. I probably shouldn't do that, to be honest. I'm not recruiting a mage here at all? Wow. Ryujin are good, and I like them, so I'm actually going to cut down on troop recruitment a little bit so I can be recruiting at Ryujin. Just because eventually the Sea of Ice is going to go down. Right? It's going to be taken down, if not by me, then by Atlantis. Both of us have astral magic. He has astral magic underwater. Both of us can forge Starshine Skullcaps. Both of us have a strong, strong vested interest in taking down Sea of Ice. So, it's interesting that it was Patala that cast it too, because Patala also has underwater provinces. Now, they're not super productive for Patala. He can't recruit anything special down there. He just draws income from them, and that, I believe, is not affected by Sea of Ice, at least if you have forts underwater. So, given that, he probably doesn't really care much. But for me, it's highly annoying because it's trapping two of my useful Ryujin and also Yoshi and a bunch of Shark Warriors underwater. So I need that not to be happening. I need that not to be a thing. It's also trapping a Crab General underwater, and I kind of like my Crab Generals. They're so dopey. But in any case, my next move is to take this fort, and then after that, Arco and I have been talking. Arco seems to at least want to come across as peaceful, which is fine. I'm not sure I entirely trust that. And I'm still kind of half convinced that I want to fight them. However, I'm also kind of half convinced that I want to fight Man, because Man seems a lot more vulnerable. I mean, Man has Thunderstrike spam, but most of their army is down south fighting Ohm, and that's going to be a problem for them. I don't want to fight Patala because Patala is currently attacking Bogarus, and I am just fine with Patala attacking Bogarus. They can have Bogarus. Bogarus can have them. They can fight it out. They can just be, they can do whatever they want to do. If I put the Earth Boots on him, so he has Earth 4, what cool spells can he cast? Gnome Lore might be useful. I don't think I have any of the real good Earth spells yet. In order to get the real good Earth spells, I need to go up enchantment, because I need to get to Enliven Statues, Riches from Beneath, and Earthblood Deep Well. That takes 6 Earth. Now, what I can definitely do is, since I do have Bloodslave income, eventually here I'll be able to forge Bloodstones, and that's basically all I want from my blood magic. If I get more blood magic than that, that's fine and all, but mainly I'm in it for the Bloodstones. Now, I am getting some unrest here, so I need to take this guy over here, and I need to continue recruiting units to patrol with. What I should actually do is, I should have Yuichi here. Give that to someone else. Give that to Masashi here. You hold that lantern, and use it to peer into the depths. You're shrunken. Interesting, you are a size 1 monk. I never noticed that. And you can summon wolves a couple of times. Just summon me up about like 20 or 30 wolves, and then we'll use them to patrol with. Actually, no. Don't you do that. You research. Do I have any slightly crappier mages that can do that? Yeah, you can do that. You can summon wolves. And, because he's a 5-path mage, so he has decent research. You can summon wolves. And we'll have you summon wolves as well. Using 6 of my nature gems, but I'll get them back pretty quickly. That'll give me 30 wolves. And then I can use this guy, Fenag, can shift them up here, so that I can patrol with them and keep the unrest down. Poor Takio will, I guess, just wander back down here to Sleepy Wolds to help lead the armies of Jomon that I am slowly building up. I have actually reasonable numbers of troops in Mictlan. About 70 or so. And continuing to pump out crossbows and Onmyoji. I'm patrolling with those troops there. Over here, I should also take these guys and give them to a dude and set them to patrol, because if they're standing around, they might as well. Okay, so, doing alright, pretty solid, not sure who I'm going to attack just yet, but that's fine. Diplomatically, I need to talk to Atlantis. Arcosafali has asked to reestablish our non-aggression pact, which I'm honestly okay with, I think. So I think I'm going to allow that, because it's going to be at least a couple turns before I'm ready to attack him anyway. So I think I'm going to tell him, yeah, that's fine. Non-aggression pact, 2-turn cancellation. I'm good with that if you're good with that. And then, from there, we'll move on to either attack Arcosafali or attack Man. Now, if I sign a non-aggression pact with Arco, here's the reason why I'm reluctant to do that. I've had conversations with Arcosafali. I'm pretty sure he does not consider himself really bound by non-aggression pacts, which is fine. A lot of people in the Dominions community are like that. It means that I can't quite trust him to actually hold to a non-aggression pact. So if I sign a non-aggression pact with Arco, and then I go and attack Man, I can't guarantee that he's not going to jump me. And not being jumped is like my primary worry, my primary goal, you know? So, a little bit skeptical about the whole thing, as it were. All these archers I'm just going to kind of scatter around. Now that squadron has some infantry in it. We need to take those two guys and put them in that group. I'm going to take Aichi here. And I'm going to claim this farm, because nobody else is claiming it, and so it's going to be mine. I will make it mine. I will own it. I will have it forever. Currently, sieging units have 157 siege strength, but we're moving in another 300 plus. So we should be busting this fort in short order. It has almost no income because it is in a cave, but it does have a whole bunch of resources and decent recruitment points, as well as 3 commander points, because it is a citadel. So, especially if I also claim this province, it'll be able to pump out mages double quick time, which is what I want. And that will be the turn, I think. Yeah, got a scout there. I'll send him to where? I definitely need to keep an eye on Arco everywhere. Send him to that province. And you, Yukimitsu, should move up here to keep searching for astral sites. I have found disappointingly few astral sites. I'm still only at +2 gems per turn, which is a little alarming because I need astral pearls badly. So, that is going to be turn 37. I'll see you all in turn 38. Alright, folks, it is LAyercake turn 38, and here is the big news this turn. Kintoki is casting Mother Oak. The reason for that, the reason that he can do this, is if you look at global enchantments, you notice Mother Oak has disappeared because there was a battle in Ulm. So Ulm busted out of their besieged fort with a big ol' communion, primarily members of the second tier, but with a number of black priests accompanying. And black priests, of course, can cast Iron Blizzard, while the communion can cast, well, astral spells. So, the communioned up. They did take some crossbow fire here, but the army of man on the other side, they also took some lightning fire during this battle. But they all spammed out a whole bunch of spells. This air elemental dropped in, and it nearly did what happened last time, because the whole communion decided to shoot at it. And in the process, they did kill one of their own mages. That said, probably worth it. There's some lightning coming down here, but there's actually a lot of lightning coming down, but it's primarily missing. But the communion then starts spamming out Mind Burn and Stellar Cascades, while the Iron Blizzards begin to fly. And the Iron Blizzards start doing pretty decent damage. Man's troops begin to retreat. And as they are retreating, they run through their own mages there, and lots of Mind Burn and Paralyze is happening. Thrice Burnt Apple Store here got hit with Paralyze pretty early on, and paralyzed for a very, very long time. And as a consequence, he is not contributing to the battle. He has gone berserk, but he got paralyzed so quickly it didn't really matter. So man is now entirely routed, and the only one left on the field ends up being the Thrice-Horned Boar, who then gets the crap mind burned out of him and eventually dies, and when he dies, he takes down Mother Oak, because he was the one who was holding it up. It takes a long time for him to get mind burned to death, but it does happen. So, not that battle. So that was a really serious blow to man. They lost their god. They didn't actually lose any of their mages. They lost a couple of other commanders. They did lose quite a few troops. In terms of losses, I would almost call this I mean, in terms of losses, I would have called this overall a win for man if it hadn't been that they'd lost their god. Losing their god is a pretty serious blow. And it also turns off... I forget what his bless was. Is his bless, let me see what his bless is here real quick. I forget if it's incarnate or not. Because he has... These guys are blessed. Or not. Oh, no, that's right, because he's outside of his own dominion. That's right. That's why this this worked, by the way, because his hit points were so low. So, did he cast Blessing? Yeah, he did. Okay. Yeah, Hard Skin and Berserker. So the Hard Skin, certainly, his Bless just goes away. Now, it doesn't really matter, because that's purely an expansion Bless on his Expander, but still, it's gone, which is kind of nice. And Ulm has now freed up their capital, which is really, really nice for them. So, I've done a little bit of alchemy in order to get the gems necessary, and I'm casting Mother Oak next turn. That will kick my nature income up to 18 per month, which will be a very significant increase. In other messages, I cast Voice of Tiamat and found nothing. I summoned a bunch of wolves. I claimed the Throne of Law. So I've gone from... I should be going from Turmoil 3 to Turmoil 2, which is great over time here. Unexpected events. I lost some income there. In the Forest of Pine, I went into the Lake of Living Water and summoned an elemental. Now, unfortunately, I got a shit elemental. I got a size 2 water elemental, but I mean, it's free. So Masari is going to keep doing magic here, and hopefully I'll get a whole bunch more scriptable elementals before the thing runs out. I captured some more blood slaves, not all that many, but some. We will continue blood hunting. My goal is to... Yeah, my goal is to get up enough to... I will want to get another blood hunter or two and start putting out bloodstones. That said, it's kind of late in the game. I think I may just empower him to level 2 blood right now, and then slap a booster on him or empower him again or something. In any case, I have to do something to get him producing bloodstones because I'm starting to run out of time. Unfortunately, my Earth Gem income is garbage. It's still garbage. Earth Gems and Astral Pearls, still utter garbage. Everything else, more or less okay. Nature is going to be really good. Air Gems are okay. It'll be a few more turns before I get the 55 gems I need to summon a Dai Tengu, which is late. But it'll happen at least. I'll have one. And then we'll do something with that. But with the higher nature gem income, I'm going to start summoning Kitsune, which is mainly what I want that for. I am casting Mother Oak with 60 gems, so it's a 10 gem overcast. It's a little bit low, but it should be enough to keep it up for a little while at least. The only issue might be Sea of Ice is still up, and people will be trying to dispel Sea of Ice. Not me, because I just alchemized all my pearls. But Atlantis, assuming they have any pearls, which I think they don't, I think they'll be trying to dispel Sea of Ice at some point here. Honestly, I'm okay with leaving it for now. I'm finishing the recruitment of this one Ryujin. I'm stopping recruitment over here to save money and to move money above ground. But I've got most of my Ryujin above ground, and I've got a pretty good grip of them already. So Yoshi can stay down here. He's badly injured. He can just be down here where it's safe. He'll build a lab and a temple along with the fort in Divine Ocean. And these guys can sit down here researching and casting remote site searching spells for a while. And my money will be focused on recruiting Onmyoji, Master Shugenjas, and troops above ground. Also, this turn I realized something that made me feel really dumb. This is a 3 commander point fort, and I've only been recruiting 1 mage per turn out of it. So, yeah. So I've switched over to recruiting an Onmyoji, and next turn I will also get a Master Shugenja at the same time. Yes, I know, I'm dumb. I'm stupid. It happens. I miss things. Lots of mages still moving around site searching because my site searching is a little behind. And like I said, I desperately need earth gems. I really want air and water gems. And I could definitely use even more nature gems. If I can get my nature gem income up above 20, that would be radical. In terms of incomes, like I said, earth and astral is garbage. Death is low, but that's okay. I'm not really doing death. Nature, fire, and air, and water. Water is kind of minimally acceptable. Nature is pretty good. Air is okay. Fire is a little bit low, but I don't really use fire for much, except lanterns. So yeah, I've got a couple people casting gnome lore. I've got people wandering around searching. I'm moving him out to search for earth sites. He's searching for earth sites. We're getting it done. In terms of military, I have broken the fort in Underspring, and I am storming the castle this turn. I anticipate this being an easy victory. I've also taken Pastena with my little army of shark warriors here. Now, over here, Agartha sallied against Arco. And this battle happened very, very much like all the battles we've seen before, but he just threw everything he has at him. And it wasn't enough. You can see just the waves of crossbows coming in. The skeletons being summoned on both sides. Arcocephale is, interestingly, some of Arcocephale's mages are retreating, including some of his, like, more effective and powerful ones, so that's nice. But he gets flaming arrows up, and then his crossbows just go to work. And it is painful. Those crossbows, man, they just wreck house. As, of course, flaming arrow crossbows should and usually do. Other thing to note from this battle, the thing that I learned that was scary is Arco has access to Enslave Mind, which is indeed a little bit frightening. But, yeah, the infantry, I think the infantry took as much damage from crossbow-friendly fire as anything. But eventually the crossbows pushed up and murdered everyone, and they lost their god, they lost their Risen Oracle, they lost all of their units. It is a sad, sad day to be Agartha, but of course they were expecting this. This was inevitable. So, as you can see, they lost a whole bunch of mages. They still have a couple of Chthonian alchemists. They still have an Attendant of the Dead. They still have one of their Chthonian reanimators. And their 2 servants of the oracles. That's not a whole lot of magic power, and they have almost no units to back it up with left. All their Shard Wights, Long Dead Horsemen, Cave Knights, Blind Fighters, almost all of their crossbows and all their heavy infantry are all dead. They have 13 units remaining. Arco actually managed to claim one of the Cave Drakes and one of the Agarthan Light Crossbowmen. They did lose 3 Mystics, which is... I'll take it. I'll buy that for $1. And they lost about 50 crossbows, about 50 hoplites, and about half their Heart Companions, most of their Cerulean Warriors. So they took a hit, but they still have like 170 crossbows and about 70 hoplites, so the core of their army remains intact. Also, they still have their communion. Their Mystic Priestess Communion is still holding... It's not a Priestess Communion, it's a Mystic Sibyl Communion. It's still holding strong. So Arco is about to take Agartha's capital. A little bit unfortunate, but, you know, it happens, these things. Patala is moving in against Bogarus, and they've got their commanderized War Elephant and some Foul Spawn. So, this... I've seen some Foul Spawn in Patala before, which made me think they'd gone into blood, somehow. And this kind of confirms it. Like, 50 Foul Spawn, that comes from a couple castings of crossbreeding, if I don't miss my guess. That's a little bit dangerous. That is something I have to keep an eye on. That said, I can't be everywhere at once, I can't go everywhere at once, so I kind of have to pick what I'm doing. And to be honest, right now, I'm fairly content to be left basically alone. I've got this big old army down here. I should go take this at some point, although it'll be kind of a pain in the neck. But for right now, I've got this big old army down here, storming this castle. I'm doing a whole lot of site searching, I'm recruiting more mages, I'm throwing up Mother Oak, and then once I have Mother Oak up, I will be even more willing to kind of sit back a little bit and summon mages and build up. Because, of course, Kitsune, they're good mages, they're stealthy, and they don't have any upkeep cost. So my upkeep will not grow any faster, while my mage count will grow faster, which is an excellent, excellent place to be. That said, not really interested in letting Arco also continue to build up, because since they have Astral Magic, they scale into the late game really, really well. I mean, obviously I have Astral Magic too, but it's fairly minor. I am definitely going to have to start leaning on it more and more, which is why I'm recruiting Onmyoji in like half my forts. But, we'll see how it goes. To be honest, I have not played with Astral Magic all that much, so it'll be interesting to see where I can go with that. I am hitting Conjuration level 7. which will open up a whole lot of fun things to me. I've got all most of my national summons at this point. Level 7 only opens up the Yama no Kami, which honestly I don't think are really worth it. But it will give me Living Earth. It will give me Living Castle, which is an interesting underwater spell. I could use this to, if and when I attack Atlantis, if I can grab one of their water provinces, I could use Living Castle, because 3, 4. If I grabbed that province right there, Lake Vastness, then from Sea of Woe, I think I could cast Living Castle and give myself an instant fort there. So that's a strategic consideration worth thinking about. Also, if I ever take the Broken Ocean, I could cast it on Lucky Lake, or vice versa. And from Sea of Woe, I don't think I can cast it on the Broken Ocean. I think I'm too far by one province. Damn. Unfortunate. But I can also cast it from here to here. Basically, if I have the Nature Gem income, I can use Living Castle to go water hopping. And going water hopping would be a really, really nice ability. Anyway, also, of course, when I reach high levels with nature magic, I'll be able to, not here, it's an enchantment. Or no, it's in Thaumaturgy, that's right. At Thaumaturgy level 8, I'll be able to call the Worm That Walks, which will give me Immortals. So definitely want to go down that way, because I have Nature 5 access, not too hard for me. So I do need to go down Thaumaturgy at some point here, both for the Astral and for the Nature. Gateway would be a nice ability to have, Enslave Mind and Soul Slay, obviously. And then at some point I want Vortex of Returning and Master Enslave and all that good stuff, possibly. The problem just is my Astral Gem income is still garbage because I haven't really been able to site search Astral very effectively. Yeah. Scrying spell, but frustrating. Yeah, so I'm site searching Astral. I have 2 Astral site searched in all of my provinces down here. I have it site searched in, except the underwater ones. I'm moving people to site search Astral up top. Tetsuya, I have put a Starshine Skullcap on, so he can cast Dispel if and when I get the gems built up for it. The pearls. I don't know when that's going to be, but hopefully I shouldn't really need my underwater recruitment much for now. And I'm hoping I can drop Sea of Ice before it becomes a big issue. To be honest, Sea of Ice is going to be hurting Atlantis a lot more than me, because Atlantis has a cheaper, much more spammable underwater Astral Mage, the Forgiving Father. And so he must hate Sea of Ice even more than I do. Which is fine. He can go ahead and hate it, and it'll hurt him more than it hurts me. That's okay. So, that is the turn, I think. I'm just moving people around site searching, setting up future site searching, moving scouts, moving commanders, recruiting units down here, recruiting units up here, recruiting a few units right there, recruiting units in Mechlin. I'm recruiting a lot of units this turn because I'm not recruiting Ryujin, and so that frees up a ton of cash. Still not recruiting units in Raga because my northern flank I'm not so concerned about. Although, to be honest, one strategy here might be to go after Ulm myself. I mean, Ulm has kind of re-established themselves as a small power. I really don't have any idea how much research they could have done. I can't think that it's all that much. For example, their mages were casting Mind Burn instead of Soul Slay off script. So if we look at research, they had Paralyze and they had Mind Burn, but they didn't have Soul Slay, so I think they're only at Thaumaturgy level 4. And then I don't know what other research they would have done. I would bet that they have done no blood research whatsoever, because Ulm doesn't really need to do blood research early in the game. And with Thaumaturgy level 4, I would imagine they have Enchantment. I would imagine they have some enchantment, but like I'm at 3 level 6s, and I'm not probably the highest level research guy in this game. I would imagine that Ulm probably doesn't have much above level 4, just because they've been so limited all game and they've been forced to use so many of their mages to fight. So we'll see what happens there. Patala is going in against Bogarus in a big, big way. So I think we are going to see the number of competitors chopped down. Bogarus, I think, is probably just on the way out at this point. I mean, they've still got kind of this segment up here, but those are neutrals, somehow. That's Ulm. Bogarus has these provinces, but they've got this army attacking them, and I don't know how they plan to stop it. I don't think they really have a good answer, to be fully honest. So, yeah, hopefully Bogarus is going down. Unfortunately, that will make Patala even more powerful, and Patala is already pretty powerful. So at this point, I kind of have to make the call. I'm worried about Arcocephali, I'm worried about Patala. I don't have to make the call yet. I'm putting off making the call. That's why I'm saying this. It might be bad strategy to put off making this call, to be honest. I might just want to roll in hard with this army that I have and see if I can smash his army before it builds back up. Because I've got pretty significant forces. Oh, it's hard to say. In terms of archers, I have 50, 98, 110, 140, 160. I have over 200 archers all told, kind of mixed crossbowmen and samurai archers. In terms of infantry, I've got some fire ants, I've got some shark warriors. I've got some other random chaff. I have 1 green lion. I would love to be summoning more green lions, but as low as my water gem income is, I just can't justify it. I mean, I'm using my water gems on things, which is kind of a weird thing to say. Very often, water gems are not terribly valuable, but I literally can't afford, with my current water gem income, to be spamming out water bracelets to make people able to summon green lions. Like, I've got 2 guys standing right here. If I gave each of them a water bracelet, they could summon green lions for the rest of forever. But I haven't been able to do that yet. Yeah, it's a little sad. And I've got this guy standing here who could do it. So I could be pumping out 3 green lions per turn, which would be pretty sweet. But I just don't have the resources as of yet. I will. I'm continuing to search for water gems. Once I have everywhere site searched up to level 3 water with Ryujin, then my water gem income should be a lot higher. Cross your fingers, knock on wood. And then green lions will be a key part of my armies, because they're not terribly vulnerable to crossbows, unless they're flaming arrowed, and they spit acid bolts. But that will be for the future. Hopefully Masari will also grab me a whole bunch of scriptable water elementals, and we'll be able to do something with those as shock troops. So, that's turn 38. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in turn 39.